हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining in for our Bhagavad Gita study session today. Today is session number 39. We are starting with chapter number 5. Let's begin with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यां नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाखाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभुनित्यानन्दा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्दा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् आराध्य भगवान् ब्रजेशतनयस्तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणममलं प्रेमापुमर्तो महान् श्रीचैतन्यमहाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्र धरनापर Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in. Once again, welcome all of you for the Bhagavad Gita study session. Today we are starting chapter number 5. This chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. So the previous chapter that we completed last week was the topic on transcendental knowledge. How do we receive transcendental knowledge? And we saw the main important verse, Tadviti Pranipathena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. Right? The method of receiving transcendental knowledge. Right? This chapter number 5 is going to talk about how we're going to apply that knowledge as we are performing our karma. Karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. But before that, we need to understand, we need to get the knowledge first, right? So that was what we studied in chapter number 4. And the methodology that was given to receive transcendental knowledge is by surrendering to a bona fide guru, by serving that bona fide guru, and inquiring submissively from the bona fide guru. Then the transcendental knowledge will be revealed in our heart. So when the transcendental knowledge is revealed in our heart, then we understand theoretically what is to be done. And then chapter number 5, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna and through Arjuna to all of us, how do we apply this karma yoga in action? That is action in Krishna consciousness. So let's begin text number 1. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen and then we'll begin. Oh, just give me a second. There's somebody at the door. Let me just attend to that. Give me a second. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So let me share my screen and let's quickly jump into chapter number 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. This chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Arjuna Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam Cha Shamshasi Yachreya Etayor Ekam Tanme Bruhi Sunischitam. Synonyms word for meaning. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Sanyasam, renunciation, Karmanam of all activists, Krishna, O Krishna. Punaha again, Yogam, devotional service. Cha also. Sam Shashi, you are praising. Yat which Shreya is more beneficial, Etayo of these two, Ekam one, Tat that, May unto me, Bruhi, please tell. Sunischitam, definitely. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Karpaguli Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mother. Translation by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend me to work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" Purport by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. In this 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material entanglement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. The 3rd chapter, it was explained that the person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. The 4th chapter of the Lord, uh, 4th chapter, the Lord told Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the 4th chapter, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in and in action in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyasa or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. He appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is not reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So, this is Arjuna's asking this question on behalf of all of us, right? So, we generally we are looking for results of the work that we do. If we are not looking for the results of the work that we do, then we are not motivated to work, isn't it? I do some work because it enables me to get some result. Otherwise, I don't want to spend time on it, right? So that is why we change jobs also. Like one job is not paying me adequately, so let me shift into another job because that will pay me more, right? So we are always focused on what is the result of the activity that I'm doing. What is the return on investment of the time that I'm spending in a particular activity? That is normal. But what Krishna is telling here is that we have the right to perform our duty, but we don't have the right to the results of that activity, right? Because there are three doers. The first doer is myself, right? I'm the first doer, which means I'm the one who's desiring, right? I do a particular activity because I desire that I get something out of it. So I perform that activity. I desire to perform that activity. The second person is the Supreme Lord, who is the sanctioner. So I may desire so many things, but I'm able to do certain things only what is sanctioned by the Lord. And who is the actual doer? Prakrite kriyamanani, gunai karmani sarvashaha. Right? So who is actually executing it? Prakriti. Prakriti is creating the circumstances by which a particular thing happens. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Only a fool thinks that I am the desirer, I am executing the action, I am getting the results. Right? Because the Lord is sanctioning the results. The Lord is the most important aspect of the three doers, because the Lord is sanctioning, and then we are desiring. If the Lord sanctions, the Lord will only sanction when we desire. I want to do this activity, and then it goes to the Lord for sanction. The Lord is present in our heart. Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. He is a permitter and he is a witness, right? And he permits, and then what happens? Prakriti executes it, right? So we are not the sole doer of our actions, and so we are not entitled to the results of our activities. So here Arjuna is asking Krishna, you are asking me you've given me the transcendental knowledge, but you are asking me to get up and fight, right? But you're still asking me not to be attached to the activities. So should I renounce the activities, or what should I do? I'm very confused. So Arjuna is asking this question on behalf of all of us, so that we also understand that we have to perform our duty. We cannot run away from performing our duty, but at the same time we should not be attached to the results of our activities. And that is what is the difference between tyaga and sannyas. Sannyas means it's an order of life, right? Where you don't have to perform certain swadharma because you've taken up the order of sannyas. But for all of us who are in the grihastha ashram, who are part of this call, and all grihasthas for that reason, what we have to practice is called tyaga. Right? Tyaga is being situated in our position as a grihastha, or as a vanaprastha, or as a brahmachari, or as a shudra, or as a whatever varna or ashrama that you are situated in. We perform our duty, but we are not attached to the results of our activities, and that is called tyaga. So even not being sannyasis, we can perform this tyaga or renunciation. How? By not renouncing our activities, but by renouncing the results of the activities, knowing that it belongs to Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, text number 2. Sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyasa karavubhav tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Suranam's word meaning, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the personality of Godhead, said, Sannyasaha, renunciation of work, karma yogaha, work in devotion, cha also, nishreyasa karau, leading to the path of liberation, ubhav, both, tayo, of the two, but karma sannyasat, in comparison to the renunciation of fruit of work, karma yoga, work and devotion, vishishyate, is better. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation, but after the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Prabhupada ki jai. Fruit of activities seeking sense gratification are cause for material bondage. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4 to 6 confirms this as follows. नूनं प्रमत्त कुरुते विकर्म यदिन्द्रिया प्रीतया आपनोति न साधु मन्येयत आत्मनोऽयम् असन् अपि क्लेशद आशदेह पराभवस्तावदबोध जातो यावन्न जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वं यावत् क्रियास्तावदिदं मनो वै कर्पकं येन शरीरबन्ध एवं मनः कर्म वशं प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्ययात्मन्युपदीयमाने प्रीतिर्नयायन्मयि वासुदेवे न मुच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. People are mad after sense gratification. They do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruit of activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruit of results, for sense gratification. And as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruit of activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Therefore, jnana, or knowledge that one is not this material body or spirit soul, one is not sufficient for liberation. So we need to, first step is to understand that I am a spirit soul. I am not this body. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. There's no use of knowing something but not putting it into practice. So you know that we are spirit soul, but we don't act according to the conception of a spirit soul. Jivera Swarupe Krishna Nitya Das. But we are acting on the platform of sense enjoyment, then there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitative platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one does not need to descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.58. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunah mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. When persons eager to achieve level renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. In chapter number 2, Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishyan Sangas Teshupajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Krodod Vijayate. So, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsan. But outside we are thinking that I am not attached to anything. I don't want anything. Right? I am simply, working without attachment results. I am simply doing my work, but I am not at all attached to these senses or sense gratification or sense objects. But what is happening in the mind, at the mind level? There are two levels. One is thinking, feeling, feeling. That is happening in the mind. And then physical action. That is happening in the, using our senses, our ears, our nose, our mouth, our tongue, our skin. Right? So I am thinking that I am thinking about all the objects of sense gratification. The ayato vishayan pumsan sangas teshu pajayate. So my mind is contemplating on the sense objects because artificially I am restraining my senses from actually going and doing that particular activity. Right? But then I am not having a higher taste. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. If I don't have a higher taste, but like Mayavadis do, 90, 90, 90. This laptop is material, I will not use it. This speaker is material, I will not use it. This mobile is material, I will not use it. That is 90, 90, 90. But what is my mind doing? My mind is contemplating on the sense objects. That means I want to use the laptop for sense gratification, probably to watch a movie, right? Or to engage in some kind of nonsensical chat, right? When I'm doing that, then what is happening? I'm using the laptop. I want to use the laptop, right? My mind is dwelling on using the laptop, but outside I'm just thinking that I will not use the laptop, right? Why? Because I want to use it for watching movie and it is not good for me, right? The knowledge is there, but then the mind is not controlled, right? And then what is the better way of doing it? It's not just to reject the laptop, but to use it for something that will be beneficial for me, right? So I use the laptop for probably joining a Zoom session to hear Krishna Katha or to connect with the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, right? Or I use it for watching a YouTube lecture, right? When I'm doing that, I'm dovetailing this laptop in Krishna's service. I'm dovetailing this speaker in Krishna's service. I'm dovetailing this mobile in Krishna's service. So that is a better engagement, and that is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Not that artificially renounce. I will not use a laptop because the laptop is material. That is Mayavadi philosophy. 90, 90, 90. But utilizing Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. Utilizing the laptop, utilizing the mobile, utilizing the speaker in the service of Krishna. That is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Right? Not giving up anything as material, but using everything in the service of Krishna. That is what we are talking about. Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. With a proper understanding, that everything is given by Krishna and everything has to be utilized in the service of Krishna. So that is what we need to understand. Then the mind is not dwelling because I'm using the laptop, but the way or the process or the purpose for which I'm using the laptop is to serve, satisfy, and please Krishna. So that I'm acting in the platform of the soul. Text number 3. ज्ञेय स नित्य सन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्द्वंद्वो हि महाबाहो सुखम बंधात् प्रमुच्यते. ज्ञेय should be known. Sah he nitya always. Sannyasi renouncer yah who na never dveshti abhors na nor kankshati desires nirdvandvaha free from all dualities. He certainly mahabaho, O mighty armed one, sukham happily, bandhat from bondage, pramuchyate is completely liberated. Translation and purport Vishla Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. Purport Vishla Prabhupada ki jai. One who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his actions. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is quantitatively and qualitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in equal in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire or to lament for. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated even in this material world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually came to give us this philosophy, right? What is the philosophy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us this philosophy of Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. Beda and Abeda. How can something be Beda and Abeda at the same time? Right? Something is Beda and Abeda at the same time because we are not able to understand it because it is not within the material comprehension. Right? We say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Right? Can 1 be equal to 2? No. Right? Because when you add something, 1 plus 1, then it has to be a higher quantity. It cannot be 1. Right? But then in the spiritual context, 1 plus 1 is equal to 11. Right? Where 1 is also absolute and the 1 is always absolute. Right? So it need not necessarily be our mathematical calculation. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. That is also true. Why? Because 1 is also absolute and the other 1 is also absolute. Because the Lord is absolute and if we add more and more absolute, the quantity still remains the absolute. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudarchate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. But in terms of the jiva, right, when we are talking about being equal to the Lord, we are equal to the Lord in quality. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that. But we are not able to understand this Abeda, Abeda. Equality in quality and non-equality in quantity. You are not able to understand this. Why? Because it is inconceivable. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says inconceivable oneness and difference. Right? For us, if this is same as this, then it has to be equal. But if this is not equal to this, then it cannot be same. How can something be equal and different at the same time? Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this, that equal in quality, which means in terms of our Satchit Ananda, we are equal to the Lord. Right? That means eternality, bliss and truth. Right? In terms of knowledge, eternality and bliss, we are equal to the Lord in quality. But in terms of quantity, Prabhupada explains how a spark of fire is equal to fire in quality, but the spark of fire is minuscule or infinitesimal, whereas the fire is infinite. The fire can destroy the entire forest, Prabhupada says. But a spark of fire, when it falls down to the ground from the fire, right, it gets extinguished immediately. So we are like sparks of fire. We jivas are like spark of fire, whereas the Lord is like the fire, which can burn the entire forest, isn't it? So we are equal to the Lord In that, the fire and the spark of fire have the same constituents, have the same quality of burning. But one is capable of burning a forest. The other is probably capable of burning, it can make a small dot on my hand. If I suddenly touch fire or a spark, then what happens? This particular point, there will be a dot, which will probably remain for 3 or 4 times. For 3 or 4 days it may remain. And then it is gone. But the fire that has burnt the forest, what is happening to that? That fire has destroyed the entire forest. That is the impact of the Lord, who is infinite, and the Jiva, who is infinitesimal. So that is the difference, which is called Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. So that is what we need to understand, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is infinite, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is infinite both in quality and quantity. Whereas I am equal to the Lord in quality, but I am not equal to the Lord in quantity. I am infinitesimal, whereas the Lord is infinite. So this is what we need to understand. So when we understand this, then we are sorted. Because it's very, very easy to understand that we are equal to the Lord, that is Beda, difference, and Abeda, we are not equal to the Lord in quantity. Right? Now we understand the difference. Very, very simple to understand for a devotee who surrendered, but very complicated for a person who is materialistic. Right? How can something be equal and not equal? Right? For them it goes above, but for a devotee we are able to understand, because we understand that the Lord is inconceivable. All inconceivabilities, they are put to rest at the lotus feet of Krishna. Right? Because we understand so many things that are inconceivable about Krishna. Right? In Isha Upanishad, we study how the Lord is always situated in Goloka Vrindavan Dham, but at the same time, He is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and at the same time, He is situated everywhere in the form of Brahman, isn't it? So, inconceivability is the Lord's nature. Otherwise, we are able to understand Krishna completely. How is He the Lord, and how are we parts and parcels of Krishna? We cannot completely understand the Lord, but we are able to understand this Veda Abeda Tattva because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we've surrendered to a proper bona fide Guru who has explained this to us, we understand that we're equal to Krishna in quality, but not equal to Krishna in quantity. So this is the Achintya Abeda Beda Tattva. All right, let's move ahead. Text number. Text number 4. Text number 4. Sankhya Yoga Pratag Bhalah Pravadanti na Panditaah Ekam Api Astita Samyag Ubayor Vindate Phalam. Synonyms of word meaning. Sankhya, analytical study of the material world. Yoga, work in devotional service. Pratak, different. Balaha, the less intelligent. Pravadanti, say. Na, never. Panditaha, the learned. Ekam, in one. Api, even. Astita, being situated. Samyak, complete. Ubhayo, of both. Vindate, enjoys. Phalam, the result. Yes, Harini Haripriya Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mother, Dhanot Pranam. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the result of both. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The aim of analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of existence. The soul of the material world is Vishnu, or the supreme soul. Super soul. Devotional service, the devotion to the Lord, entails service to the super soul. One process is to find the root of the tree, and the other is to water the root. The real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material world, Vishnu, and then, in perfect knowledge, engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in essence, there is no difference between the two, because the aim is of both is Vishnu. Those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same. But one who is learned knows the unifying aim is in these different processes. Hare Krishna Madhis, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, unity in purpose, right? In Ishopanishad, Ekatvam anupashyate, right? There's a very nice verse which talks about ekatvam. So for a devotee, ekatvam means unity in purpose with the Lord. The Lord, like Prabhupada says, Krishna says, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we go around telling everyone that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is no difference. We are not talking anything different from Lord Krishna. We are not going and telling, I am the Lord. I am only going and telling everyone that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is unity. There is no disconnect. So this unity is in purpose. This unity is not in merging with the Lord. I'm not saying that I will become God after some time when I perfect my life, right? So Prabhupada talks about ekatvam anupashyati. There is ekatvam, but that ekatvam is unity in interest, Prabhupada says. It is not in merging with the Lord, but it is actually unity in purpose, right? We want to do what Lord has instructed us to do. And in that way, the purpose of the Lord is our purpose also, right? We want to study Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita because it pleases the Lord, because the Lord wants us to perfect our lives and go back to Him, right? Prabhupada mentions in one lecture how the Lord is more eager for us to go back home, back to Godhead, even more than we ourselves are interested, because the Lord is our most well-wishing friend and our benefactor, like that. All right, last verse for today, text number 5. Yatsyankai prapyate sthanam yadyogairavigамyate ekam sankyam cha yogam cha ya pashyati sa pashyati. Synonyms over to meaning. Yat, what? Sankyahi, by means of Sankhya philosophy. Prapyate is achieved. Sthanam, place. Tat, that. Yogaihi, by devotional service. Api, also. Gamyate, one can attain. Ekam, one. Sankyam, analytical study. Cha, and. Yogam, action and devotion. Cha, and. Yaha, one who. Pashyati, sees. Saha, he. Pashyati, actually sees. All right, Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusions reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the Supreme Spirit whole. Consequently, the spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in the some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in his constitutional position. In the first process, one has to become detached from matter. And in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Actually, both process are the same. Although superficially, one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from the matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can see this sees things as they are. Hare Krishna Mother, thank you.
So thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very, Prabhupada explains in one lecture, right? He gives example of this, what do you call, balance. When we say we are going to buy 1 kg of sugar. So we put 1 kg of sugar here. And, when we put 1 kg weight here and 1 kg sugar here, then they become equal, right? So what is it? The balance is said to be in balance, right? Because I put equal weight on both sides, right? But then Prabhupada explains that the material and spiritual life, attachment to Krishna and detachment to matter, they are also directly proportional. That means the more I become attached to Krishna, the less I will be attached to material nature. So it's inversely proportional, right? So when I don't have to necessarily do 90, 90, 90. I don't have to say no to everything. But when I start utilizing in Krishna service, automatically my desire to exploit that particular object or the person becomes less and less. The more I'm attached to Krishna, the more I want to please Krishna. Krishna will give me the intelligence by which I become less and less interested in wanting to enjoy material sense objects, right? Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When we develop a higher taste, like for example, Prabhupada gives example, a child, right? When a child is, playing with a knife or something, right? What does a mother do? The mother, very nicely takes a nice knife away and gives another toy to the child so that the child does not cry. If you just take the knife away and don't give another engagement to the child will cry. I want this, I want this, I want to cry like that, right? But when the mother very nicely takes the knife away and gives another toy, the child becomes busy in playing with that toy, which is safe for the child, and the child is also pacified. So in that way we want to enjoy, but the real method of enjoyment is by giving pleasure to the Lord, right? So when we enjoy by say doing what we like, if I like to sing, I sing for the pleasure of the Lord. I like to dance, then I dance for the pleasure of the Lord. I like to cook, then I offer boga to the Lord and enjoy Krishna prasadam. So there is no restriction in enjoyment, but what is required is regulated sense enjoyment, sanctioned, sanctified, and what is sanctioned for us is patram pushpam phalam toyam, and it becomes sanctified when we are offering it to Krishna. And at the same time, it has to be regulated. Over endeavoring, atyahara prayascha has to be avoided. So when we are doing this, we will please Guru and Gauranga. Just 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Sorry. Okay. So what was I saying? Utilizing Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchete. When we utilize everything in the service of the soul, service of the Supreme Lord, we will become attached to the Lord, and will also be not be deprived of anything in life. Right? Because we are offering it to the Lord, we are also enjoying, right? So Prabhupada says Krishna is so merciful. When you offer food to Krishna, Krishna accepts it by his glance only. Right? Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmay rasudva vigrahasya govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Krishna accepts simply by his glance. And we also get the prasadam after offering to Krishna. So where is the loss? We don't have anything to lose. We simply have to offer everything to Krishna, remember Krishna, and then we can partake the mercy of Krishna in the form of prasadam. So this is a very susukam kartum avyayam, Krishna says, very joyful process. We simply have to dovetail our consciousness to offer everything for Krishna's pleasure, and then we honor Krishna prasadam. We do everything for the pleasure of the Lord. And the Lord is satisfied, then because we are parts and parcels of the Lord, Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. We are parts and parcels of the Lord. When we please the Lord by doing devotional service, automatically our senses will also be pleased, because we are parts and parcels of Krishna. So with that, we'll end our session today. We'll continue with verse number 6 on next Monday. So tomorrow is Tuesday, so we'll meet at 12 o'clock as we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam study. And of course, we'll meet at 4:30 a.m. for our Brahma Murta chanting session. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So we'll quickly do 2-3 minutes of Harinam Sankirtan, and then we'll end our session. So, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Sudarshan, Jai Balagopal, Jaya Rukmini Vittal, Jaya Prahlad Narsinga, Jaya Lakshmi Narsinga, Jai Chaturbuja Shaligram Shila, Aigriva Shaligram Shila, Gopalji Shaligram Shila, Kurmaji Shaligram Shila, Lakshmi Narsinga Shaligram Shila, Guruvayurappa, Jai Radha Krishna, Jai Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Govinda Radha, Gopinath Shri Radhe, Jayo Radhe 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 Radhe, Radhe 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 Radhe, Radhe 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 Radhe, Shri Radhe, Jaya Shad Goswamis, Guru Parampara, Prabhupada, Guru Deva Nitai, Gaur Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol, Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Haribol. कलियुग विदित भावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवा वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees, and very, very glad to share that we chanted about 600 plus rounds for the good health and long life of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Sri Guru Maharaj. We thank all the devotees who chanted extra rounds and reported in the Google form. We've also reported it to the JPS office, and in this way, it'll get reported to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for your kind and wonderful services on every Ekadashi. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल. So you reported through the JSSS platform, so it will be reported to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai gaur premanande. Hari Hari bol, Hari Hari bol, Hari Hari bol.